What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 10K to $2 million funding challenge. Venator Trading, here we go. We're live. It's Wednesday, October 18th, 7 a.m. New York time. So welcome back, welcome in. Good morning to everyone here in the States. Afternoon, everyone over there on the other side of the pond. And good evening to all my friends on the other side of the world. Glad you guys are here. Glad you guys are in. We're back at it. We took the loss yesterday on euro dollar. Unfortunately, we were literally 0.5% away, $50 away from passing. That sucks. We took the loss. It is what it is. We're 3 wins, 3 losses, and we're up 4%. The beauty of risk-reward ratio working in your favor. Executing your trades when you see them and identify them. This is how you do it. So looking at a couple things here right off the bat this morning. We had a run of liquidity into London. We couldn't take out yesterday's high, the Tuesday high. The dollar did take out yesterday's correlated low and has since reversed up. So looking at this area here, a couple places really. Looking at this area here, potentially to sell euro dollar. You've had this down move, a stab up into buy side, a failure to displace below. You had displacement in the opposite direction. You have a lot of the liquidity that we were looking for yesterday get tapped into. You have all this trend line, which it's reaching into now. Still very bullish on the dollar. Dollar, as you can see, took out yesterday's low right here inside this inverted fair value gap and has since displaced higher. What I was kind of hoping to see is the dollar close above and outside this fair value gap to confirm that bullish bias, because currently we're just kind of consolidating a little bit of a sideways movement, but you have had nice rejection off of this inverted fair value gap, off of this 4-hour bullish imbalance here. Came back down into it. We've rejected, and now we're trying to get back through this trend line here, which we haven't done. Haven't been able to get through that. Once we tap up through there, then I think new highs are in place to be had as we go further up into this monthly imbalance here. So it's still kind of what I'm looking for and anticipating. So any kind of a move back down here on, or move back up here in euro, I would look for sells in an up around this area. And then you could target I would have to put my stop above probably there, and I would go for 2 to 1, which is below the liquidity down back below here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now as we head into the Wednesday session. There is some building permit news. That's one that I will trade through. It's not one that I avoid. Light news day today. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating here is a pop-up into this 30-minute breaker block. We've had displacement down through it, so any pullback up into that, I would look to sell and take out the liquidity down here. So I think that's what I'm going to set up. I haven't set it up just yet. I was looking at GU. GU had the CPI news come out. It didn't really do much on GU here. There's the highs here from Monday haven't been taken out. So it's really interesting when you look at GU. You've just been trading inside Friday's range all week long. So Monday inside day, Tuesday inside day, and Wednesday currently inside day. We haven't taken out Friday's high or low on GU yet. We're just moving sideways. Not sure why that's happening. I mean, I don't really have a good, strong reason, but it's just in this tight range. It's engineering liquidity. Did get up into this fair value gap right here on the 4-hour time frame. It did not reach up into the daily fair value gap yet. So I'm probably just going to stay away from GU right now because it just is very directionless. I don't have a good confluence like I have with EU and the dollar, the DXY here. Having the taken out yesterday's low, and now we're having displacement up away from that area. So this is why I lean more towards EU. GJ also just kind of like it's just moving sideways here. It's engineered some liquidity above. It's stabbed through lower here on the 1-hour time frame, and then we've just been locked into this sideways action. GA after tapping into the daily fair value gap up here, has now started to move lower. We've had a break of structure right here. We have not returned up to this 4-hour breaker. We continue to take out sell side liquidity on GA here. You can see we've tapped up on the daily time frame. We made lows. We had a swing level put in. We took out that buy side, tapped into this fair value gap, and now we're moving lower. So currently this bearish order block right here is the one that you would want to see violated and a close below to confirm that you're probably going to be taking out this relative equal low sell side liquidity here at some point in the future. That's the way I read that. Dollar yen just moving sideways. US 30 popping up and down, no real clear direction here. U.S. oil has popped up. We gapped up from the Middle East conflict. We came back down, filled in that gap, and we've displaced higher, pulled back in, supported off that order block, and have moved higher here. And now you're getting some retracement back into these order block areas. We looked at Euro Aussie yesterday. It is grabbed buy side liquidity, and now we're heading downward here. So I would be bearish on Euro Aussie today as well. What I would be looking for on this is so we've taken out some buy side here, but we haven't seen displacement down through. I would want to see some displacement through this level there before I would want to look for sells on Euro Aussie. We've had the run of liquidity right here, popped up above these relative equal highs, cleared out the buy side, and now we're just waiting for continuation to displace through that low. So that's kind of where I'm vibing with this morning as we head into the New York session. There's not, I mean, it's just a pretty clean read to me. You've taken out the buy side liquidity. You left the high of the week in place so far for Tuesday there. Low of the week is back over here. If you look at, it looks like there's no wick on this weekly candle. There's a little teeny tiny baby wick there. We're still inside last week's range, high of the week, low of the week. Yeah. Daily. 4 hour. One hour, 30, 15. These are the highs. Ran the highs, GJ. Ran the sell side liquidity here on dollar, took out yesterday's low, failed to make a new low here, and instead displaced higher. This is the 1 hour fair value gap on DXY that a closure above that, I feel like, would confirm the bullish bias on dollar to run up into buy side. And we've not been able to close above that just yet, which is why one reason why I've not settled into, if you look at euro dollar here, correspondingly, euro dollar did close below the fair value gap, closed outside of it. So with the SMT of euro dollar not taking out the high, dollar taking out the high, euro dollar closing out below the 1 hour fair value gap. Kind of like, I think I kind of like this setup here. I think this is what I'm going to do right here. It's about 50% of the order block. 50% of the breaker here on the 30 minute. these down close candles on the 30-minute time frame, or if you just look at this chunk of 15-minute, all are the breaker here. So I think any return up into that area is what I would be looking at. So 05675 is where I'm looking. And I put my stop above the bodies of the last impulse move down. Let's see if we get up into that. Let's see here. Pull a fib. I want it to stop at this first fair value gap. Okay, so this is what I think I'm going to do for euro dollar. This is my anticipation. It's nice to see setups happen coming into New York session. I mean, we've had weeks where we haven't had any setups form at all. And we've been getting setups pretty consistently here now as we've moved into the fall season, the last quarter. So it's good to take advantage of them. When you see them, you gotta execute. This fits the trading strategy. We've had a run of liquidity. After we've run this liquidity, there's a pause and then a displacement after a failure to take out the last high, leaving behind a fair value gap, breaking through an order block. So a return of that price to rebalance some of this London displacement here, find an entry, target the sell side liquidity, much like we did yesterday. And we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. Move my mic over here a little bit. On my MT5 terminal. Throw some lines up there. And entry is with a stop up there. Just above the body of that candle. With the lows underneath. Let's see, it's going to take away a $7 to 410, so I need 390 is really what we need here. So let's do this right here. All right. There we go. Okay, so this sell limit is 05680 with a stop of 05847 and a TP of 05352, which is a little bit less than 1 to 2, but we're just over 4%. So I have the profits set, so this would be a close out the phase 2 challenge there. So the orders are set here on MT5. I'll take a screenshot of this And then I'll throw this over in the Discord. EU sell limit. Now, GU it's ranging inside the range. It's taken out buy side liquidity here. We haven't had any displacement lower, so that's why GU is not viable for me right now. GJ, this is just very not clean for me. Yeah, I've taken out some buy side. Technically, you did take out this buy side here. I would want to see, I think, displacement through there to see if you're going to get any. This is the move that ran buy side, and then if you get displacement through, which you did not get any follow through here. GA, same. Yeah, Euro dollar's the cleanest setup, so we'll stick with that. All right. Let me jump over into the chat. Haven't done that yet. Let's see who is here. Cisco, hey, what's going on? Beeswax, George Tucker, Red Ezekiel, Mr. Alfie, Yash. Good morning. A Salvador, it's a good morning. Thanks for being here. Chase, welcome in. Owen, as always, good to see you. Lee, good afternoon. Quiet time. I'm sorry. Yeah, I kind of got lost in my own analysis there for a minute. Owen says if EU offers 1057 again today, I'll be looking for sells if not too much risk and not enough reward. 057. I mean, that's basically where my entry is. You're aiming for that fair value gap just above where I've got my entry. I've got my entry basically at the 50% line of that breaker. That's where my entry is going to be. But yeah, we're thinking in the same. High of the week is in, and we're just going to look for a small little retrace of this London move, and then hopefully capture some sell side liquidity. What's up, LOL? Welcome in. Bakang, good afternoon. LOL says yesterday trade was unfortunate, but there was some downside on your risk management too. If I was you, I would risk 1% and target the regular 1 to 2, and even if I lose 1%. On the next trade, I would risk 2% as always and pass the challenge if I get lucky, but now you are stuck on 3% remaining. Hope you get my point. We're only 2% away. I'm sorry, we're 4% away, but a 1 to 2 winner is all I need, and that's all I ever go for is 1 to 2. So it doesn't matter. I don't change any of my risk strategy there. If we had gotten a 1 to 1, which was very likely, we got to a 0.89 and then price reversed. And that just happens. So hindsight, you can always go back and look at hindsight and say, oh, well, I should have done this. I should have done that. I do not change my risk management. I do not mess with my risk reward ratio. It is the life jacket that keeps you afloat. I'm not trading percentages, right? I'm not trading on I need X percentage per day or per week or per month. I'm just trading the setup and I'm just following the rules. That's my only job as a trader. Had that trade won, we would have gotten a 1 to 1 and we passed. But today we get another beautiful setup on EU and we may get the full 1 to 2 today. So I just execute. That's all I do. You guys have seen me here for 5 months now. I don't change anything. I just identify the setups, I check off the boxes, and then I do the same risk every time because my risk reward ratio is the offensive weapon that you have. It's the edge in your market. You have to capitalize on your edge. And if you change your risk profile all the time, you're ruining the sharpness of your blade. It needs to stay consistent for your edge to play out. The casino does not change anything when it's operating. The casino just takes every bet that comes in that fits in the games that they offer. They don't change if they hit a losing streak or if they're close to a certain profit target. They just keep taking the same trades, and they let the probabilities and statistics reward them and their bank account. And that's the same mindset that I have right here. Is just, that's all I'm doing, is just trying to continue to operate like a casino, wherein for my edge to play out, I have to execute every setup that I see, which is why you'll see me put in multiple entries on different pairs. I'll take the one that comes up first and I'll cancel the others. But I'm ready and I'm set and prepared to trade any of them that fit the profile. And so, looking at yesterday, I wouldn't have done anything different. I wouldn't go back and do anything different. All I needed was a 1 to 0.9 RR, and we were right there, just within like a pip and a half or two of hitting the TP. And had it hit the TP, everybody would be like, "Oh, great trade," but it lost, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have risked so much. Now you were so close to your TP." I'm still close to my TP. One winner, and the thing is finished. So I don't have any problems. Like, there's nothing about that trade that I would have done differently yesterday. Not one thing. And it doesn't bother me. I didn't lose any sleep over it. I'm not upset today. I wasn't upset yesterday. I tell y'all, I still feel all the same emotions. So there's some frustration there that you feel, of course. It's like, yeah, I would have loved to pass that phase one and knock out that big 8% profit target. But it didn't happen. But what did happen is that we were in 4% drawdown. We cleared the drawdown and then made an additional 6% in the last week and a half. So in a week and a half, we made 10%. That's how your risk-reward ratio works in your favor. You saw me manage drawdown for 3.5 months. We were in drawdown for 3 months. And then in just a week and a half, we can make 10%. So this is why I love trading the system that I trade. This is why I use the risk reward ratio that I do. This is why I use the risk percentage in the profile that I do, is I can manage my drawdown for a very long time. I understand that over the long term, my win rate, like you see here on this challenge, is more consistent with what it typically is. And there's going to be seasons where it's not. There's going to be seasons where it's even better, where we have, I think early on, we in this whole YouTube funding challenge that I've been doing, I mean, we only had like 2 or 3 losses and like 7 or 8 wins, 9 wins. So it goes both ways, and we've come out of a drawdown season. We're getting back to a more normal market profile of how this system works and operates. And so, yeah, I wouldn't have changed anything. I understand why you would make that comment or where that logic is. I'm not saying that that's the only fallacy in that logic for me is that it would mean breaking my rules to accommodate just this desire, this fear that I wouldn't pass today, or that I won't pass again, or I won't have another opportunity tomorrow. Typically, when you're wanting to change something, it's because you're operating out of an emotional reaction to something else. And to me, that's an emotional reaction of fear. And I'm not going to operate out of fear. I'm going to operate out of rules and systems and plans and processes. And I'm going to ignore the emotions that are going on inside my head and not be like, oh, you're so close, then just change this and change that, and you're going to be okay. That's just not how I do that. Now, I'm not telling you shouldn't do that. That's not my financial advice to you. I'm just replying to your comment about how you feel like I should have done that yesterday. But that's That's not how I approach and operate there. But I understand it. Mr. Partha G, good morning. Ansab, how can one join the Discord? Is it free or paid? Discord's free. I'll post a link in just a minute. I can go grab that. We will put it up. Let me get back over to the YouTube chat there. There you go. Discord link active there. All right. Yeah, nothing changes for me. What's up, Muhammad? Welcome in. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're having a good day, or hope you have had a good day. Hope your evening's going well. Cisco says he's saying, hope you're feeling better after taking a break from those 30-second chart. Yeah, Simon, you haven't been feeling well, man. Yeah, I've been under the weather. Hope things are, hope you're feeling better, man. Being sick is miserable. It's no fun. One thing I did notice here on the monthly time frame, look at this monthly candle for October. We're halfway through the month of October. And we're basically back at the open. We're just hovering around the open monthly price, which is really fascinating to me. This monthly fair value gap has been left in place. It's going to be interesting to see if over the next couple of weeks, if this candle can expand lower. Currently still inside last week's high and low on euro dollar as well. Coming up towards our entry there. Just about to get tapped in. Yeah, the commissions, you got to account for them. Trading and scalping, commissions will eat you alive. Mohammed Saeem, your broker, contacted me yesterday. He wants me to tell you to keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome. Commissions and spread are why I don't like scalping, plus the time required on scalping. Yeah, it's brutal to live down there underneath that 5-minute time frame. There are people who do it, but not very many. Oh, successfully, anyway, it's a pretty limited amount of people that can do that successfully. Coming back up into these BPRs. A BPR is a balanced price range. So you see this, these fair value gaps here are overlapped by these fair value gaps here. These fair value gaps here are overlapped by these fair value gaps here. And so you're looking for price to rebalance these areas here. It could come up into this fair value gap pretty deep. It could dig up into that. Stop is up above the daily fair value gap. It's up above the breaker. It's up above the highest candle that created stop. If it runs this stop, then it's going to make a new high of the week probably. And I'm fine with being wrong there. I like this profile. I like the sell side liquidity. I like the trend line. I like all of the retail aspects of the counter trend move here. Not quite tapped in just yet here. Yeah, I mean, having that DXY close above that 1 hour fair value gap, euro dollar already did close below. It's coming back inside of it now. We'll see there's an hourly fair value gap right there as well. All right, we're tapped in on Think Markets here. So the trade is live. Go ahead and post that in. So we get triggered in here. We're just inside 50% of that breaker block. And we'll see what happens. It wouldn't surprise me if we do dig into this upper fair value gap a little bit, but it would line up with a getting back into a premium level and an OTE level here. I don't use those strictly. I use those more as confluences more than anything. I trade the breaker with the fair value gaps inside and try to get in around that 50% line. Those typically tend to be the cleanest moves for me. So where would I be looking? I would probably be looking to go to break even if price moves in our favor. Somewhere down in this area, I would look to move to break even. If we can get a pullback and price does move in our favor, if we make a new low off of this 15-minute swing level here. And then that's what I would want to see happen. Sorry, just looking at a couple other messages there. Oh, it says nice entry. Well, so far it's a nice entry. So far it's a nice entry, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. We'll have to let price play out here a minute and see if it's actually going to be a nice entry or not. Brad is back in game mode. Yeah, nothing changes. I watched the Ireland-New Zealand match last week and was very close, man. So Ireland lost, I take it, from what I understand. Ooh. Alas, I may get swerved today. Don't say that just yet, because you've got this 4-hour candle is going to close in an hour and 15 minutes. So even if this thing, in the next hour closes down, that next 4-hour candle could open, put in a top wick. And who knows? I mean, this 4-hour candle could just push back up and close up inside that breaker. So just because this entry you didn't get doesn't mean it won't come back and give you another opportunity. You still have a whole nother 15-minute candle on this hour, and then you've got your next hour probably to open, pop up. So just have to wait and see. My limit set 735. Yeah, you guys are just hoping for that deeper pullback, which is completely legitimate. If you, like I said, if you pull that fib off of that last swing, this OTE level right here is right there at that 7.3 level. And it still hasn't gotten above into that premium level that ICT is so fond of. So don't fret just yet if you didn't get in. You may still get another opportunity. Once I'm in, I don't really care anymore. Nothing else. There's nothing else to do. If I was not streaming, I would have literally just closed my charts and I'd go play Starfield right now, or go take the dogs for a walk, or make breakfast, or I would just set an alert at my break-even position. I would set an alert if price was, running pretty aggressively in my drawdown. But beyond that, there's nothing else to do now. It's you found your setup, you did your analysis, you identified where you wanted to get in, and the rest is just whatever the rest is. It doesn't even matter. Oh, and this trade is playing out exactly the same as yesterday. Sniper entry for bad, falls off to begin with anyway. Yeah, I mean, it really is a. Let me see if I can show you guys. I can get some pretty good entries. I mean, you see me get swerved a lot trying to get these good entries. So don't just think it's because I got 2 in a row. Let me see. So literally at the, come on. I hate how this works. You can see it's just literally right there. At the wick, the very pipette of that wick, I got triggered in. So, I mean, sometimes it works. Let me get down to the 5-minute. You might be able to see it better. Because it just puts the arrow on the candle you got in at. I mean, that it's a pretty good entry. But who knows if it's actually going to hold up? We'll have to let time will tell. Time will tell. I've got lectures at the top of the hour. Midterms next week, so no trades for me for a while after tomorrow. Kind of looking forward to the break. What are you studying again? I can't remember. I don't think Owen trades exactly the same. I think he uses inverted fair value gaps more than I do. Data science and analytics. Well, this is, dude, trading is right up your alley then. Should be, at least. Inverted fair value gaps are money. I don't know what his strategy is on which fair value gaps matter more than others. Hopefully when we get him on, I am going to get him on. I keep saying that, but I'll send him a message today. We'll see if we can work it out in the next week or so. He's got midterms coming up, so we'll let him get through that. Midterms next week. So we'll let Owen get through the midterms, and then we'll find a time to bring him on. Inverted fair value gaps are powerful. It's just like an inverted fair value gap is on a lower time frame, probably a breaker block setup. So you're any type of violation of price or market structure, they become the opposite support or resistance when they're broken. So that's why breaker setups work. That's why inverted value gaps setups work. That's why volume imbalances work. Or, once something is traded through, once it's violated, when price comes back to it, it will act as the opposite support or resistance. And you can build entire trading strategies and frameworks around that concept. Let's see. I'm looking for 16. I'm looking for like 20. Got 23. I think break even would be somewhere down here for me. If we can get there. That's, I think, probably where I'd go to break even, somewhere around this level. I think if it wants to run higher here, it may want to pick up some more liquidity first. It has picked up sell side liquidity here. This trend line though is just so pretty. Like, it's all retail. People trying to buy euro dollar right now. The simpler the strategy, often the better. The more easily it is, it's more easily identifiable, and it's more easily replicatable on a consistent basis for you to execute in and out. The inverted fair value gap strategy I was working with on FX replay, I'm still messing around with it. I haven't done much with it because we've been moving this whole last week. I didn't do much with it at all. So it has some really, really hot months where it just cranks out 17, 18, 20%. And then it's got down months where you have a red month of 5 or 6%. So it's not, and you're never going to find a system. You're not going to find a system that works and is profitable every single month. So if you can find a system that 9 out of the 12 months is green and the red months is not very red, it's red, but it's not like aggressively red, then you probably have a profitable system on your hand that you can execute or at least take into the live markets and start gathering live forward testing data on. I saw a screenshot of my charts from this time last year with like 5 indicators and loads of different colored lines. Now it's just a couple of boxes. It's really all you need. That's really all you need. Just a couple lines, identify liquidity, or a box to identify your fair value gap, and then just trade off of that. Like, don't overcomplicate it. For me, it comes down to where is your higher time frame draw on liquidity. If it has been tapped, then look for the opposite draw on liquidity. What else is there to talk about today? We found our trade. We've got coming into the 8 o'clock hour here. I don't know. What risk percentage are you testing? On the FX replay, I use 2%, but when I go into a live market with it, I'll just use 1%. But on FX replay, for the back testing purposes, I have used 2% all the way through, because ultimately that's my goal, is to risk between 1% and 2% per trade, to have a system wherein, now it all comes down to what your max losing streak is. So that's important. If your max losing streak is more than 4, then you can't do that. You would have to, and and that's going to depend on your back testing, and then it's going to depend on your forward testing. So back testing is one thing. Forward testing is why you would risk 1% or less, like a 0.75% or 0.5% even, until you have 100 live trades in the market. Then you've got a good enough sample size. That's the number I use. Some people say you don't need 100. Whatever the number is that you're satisfied with for a sample size, it needs to be more than 20. I would say 50 minimum. I use 100. Once I have that number and I can identify my max losing streak, because typically 100 trades for me, it's going to take a year to get there. About. So for the whole year, I'm just going to be collecting data. I'm going to be trying to execute as flawlessly as I can, regardless of whatever emotions or, stuff that I'm feeling. And just trade the strategy, and use a small enough risk percentage that it probably will keep the account going. Maybe it's in profits, maybe it's not, but it's not going to blow accounts. It's just going to, I'm using real money so that I feel that, because the emotional aspect that never really goes away. But then you just use that data to determine, okay, now for the next, as we move into the actual, we've done the data collection. Now we're moving into the true, we can tweak out, now that we have that data, we can tweak out our risk management side of that strategy to really benefit us the most, and lean into those statistics and probabilities a little bit more. So if we know what our max losing streak is, we can now increase or decrease our risk to match that max losing streak number, and still keep us from violating any of these challenge drawdown limits. That's really the beautiful part and the powerful part of using the data and the stats that you collect from that. So the red months, a 5% drawdown is based on a 2% risk. Doesn't sound so bad. Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. If you can, it's 2% risk, and I think I need to go back and look. I think the biggest drawdown we had was either 5 or 7% in 1 month. I need to go back and look. But all of the drawdowns were pretty manageable. The strategy itself had a fairly high win rate. It was hovering around that 50% level, 1 to 1.5, pretty consistently. There were some months that it was very high, and the lowest I think was like 45% win rate. And with a 1.5 risk reward ratio, that's all you need. You can weather those losing streaks a lot better. So the bigger the sample, the better. Just need patience. That's really that's what people don't want to do, is wait for that sample size to play out. They don't want to wait for the data to come in. They don't want to do the work that a true project engineer does to bring a product to market. And that's what you're trying to do as a trader. If you're trying to bring a new strategy into your system, you have to put the time in to develop it. You can't just assume because you spent time on FX replay that when you go into, and now that's going to help you build confidence. It's going to help you build your eye recognition, the patterns, the rules, all of those things that you did are important. But the most important thing is collecting that data and getting that sample size so that, look, if you're going to be a trader, you want to do this for the rest of your life. Who the hell cares if it takes you 9 months or a year to perfect your strategy so that for the next 20 years or 30 years, you can profit off of that? Like, it's a very small time investment when you consider the big picture and how long you want to be in this business and consider this as a career. It's a very small price to pay to have a lower risk while you're collecting that data. It just, I don't get why people get so, kind of upset by that. John, question: how does max loss limit affect how much your risk per trade? So the max loss limit for these challenges, specifically with this 2-step challenge that we're doing with Bespoke Funding, they have a daily loss limit of 5%, and they have a max loss drawdown of 10%. So I take my max losing streak, which on this strategy is 4 losses in a row. That's the max I've ever lost in a row. So if my drawdown, I'm never going to hit my daily loss limit because that's 5%. I only risk 2%. If I lose a trade, I'm done for the day. So the max I'm ever going to lose in any one day is 2%. So the daily loss limit doesn't affect me at all. I'm only concerned about the max drawdown limit of 10%. And for me, I'm going to use my max losing streak. If I were to start a challenge and go through and lose 4 in a row, I would still not have violated. I'll still be within 2% of the drawdown limit. And then I have to make a decision there of, am I going to take one more trade to try to pull this back out of drawdown, or am I going to reduce risk at that point by half or even a quarter and give myself more opportunities to try to pull that out of drawdown? Some of that's going to depend on account size. So for a 10K account like this, I probably would just maybe reduce it by half and give myself 2 more opportunities. If it was a big funded account and, whatever it was, a 400K account or something. Maybe I reduce it even further. The value there is just different for me. See you, Owen. If I had free time, I'd code up a version of the strat and test it out. Saw a video the other day at a prop firm says 75% of accounts that get blown hit the daily drawdown rather than the overall drawdown. 75% is crazy. It is pretty crazy that you're going in and willing to risk on any one day that large of a percentage of your account. And it's just because people are gamblers and they're just looking for that slot machine jackpot. And it's also because they're just horrible at managing their own emotions, quite frankly. Maybe they only risked 1% and then they were like, well, okay, I was right. I'm going to get back in and I'm going to double my risk this time. And now they risk 2% and then they lose that. And they're like, oh crap, now I'm down 3%. Okay, I've got 5%. I'm going to risk 2% more and I'm going to try and get some of this back. That's always the mentality typically. Most people don't just go in and drop a 5% max leverage trade. It's usually multiple trades that they're revenge trading on or trying to, they're just trying to recover losses quicker. And before they know it, they've snowballed into this account destruction mode and they can't stop it. Ben, this is why they didn't really care to put no maximum days on challenges, because most people blow their account well before the 30 days. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Most of them understand that it's not the time limit that is keeping traders from passing challenges. It may be for some, but the vast majority of traders, it's not a time limit that's pressuring them to take all these trades. Good evening, Shadow. 150 below the balance. You don't only one. That's 1 point. Well, no, you got a 25K account, man. That's nothing. It's what is that? Not even a 0.5%. Maybe right at 0.5%. That's fine. No fret. Spreads or slippage make it more than 5% total. Yeah, true. Very true, sir. All right, well, we did get our sniper entry here last hour. It looks like it's going to come back up as this 8 o'clock hour candle opens. It wouldn't surprise me if we retest this fair value gap, this hourly fair value gap right there. We'll watch that and see, but it wouldn't surprise me if we don't tap into that on this right here. We'll see. We'll see. Retail trend line holding up so far. It's going to get liquidated at some point. So that's why we're going short. We've run liquidity, displaced through hourly breaker. Owen may get his entry just yet. Oh. I think I'm going to go get a haircut today. It's driving me nuts. It's been too long, and I need to clean it up. Probably get off the stream here this morning and go take the dogs over to the dog park, let them run around for a little while. See what the wifey's got planned. Follow-up question. What if you had a trailing max loss limit? Let's say you had a 50K with a max trailing loss limit of 2K. How would that affect your risk per trade? Drastically. I would divide out. Well, yeah, I'm not a fan of trailing drawdown limits. I know a lot of the futures firms have that. And it even applies to any withdrawals that you take from that account. So if you let's say you are funded and you get a 50K account and you get $2,000 into profit, or 2,500, so like 5% into profit, and then you withdraw $2,000. Your drawdown limit is now $500 because that trailing drawdown came back up. So I'm not a fan of trailing drawdown. I would have to limit my risk pretty significantly for, what is that, 4%? A 4% drawdown is your max drawdown. So, if my max losing streak is 4, I'm just trying to do math in my head real quick. I would be risking just over 0.5% per trade, probably. That gives you 10 trades-ish. I would do less than 1% for sure with that small of a trailing drawdown. I would be risking probably like 1/3 or 0.5% per trade. Yeah, 735. Like I said, that's where the OTE level is from this last leg down. So again, if it goes up there, it goes up there. Out of my control at this point. I got the entry I wanted. If that's the entry you want, then you need to stick to your guns and wait for that OTE entry, and you may get it, or you may not. I mean, it's just you. If that's your system, that's what you go for. So, all I can do is, all I can do is just trade what I see and go off the rules that I have in place, which the OTE is not a part of that. On this specific strategy, it's not. My wife cuts my hair, don't have much of it, and one Christmas she once forgot to put the guard on the clippers. A strip of shaved hair up the back of my head. At that point, I would just shave it. I would just go bald, let it all grow back out together. Looking for GU to run Friday's high. GU may, yeah, it's Friday's high is right here. Getting up into that daily fair value gap. It might want to run that buy side liquidity there. Price this week is really just kind of winding up. Let's see if there's news next week, what we have next week. Let's see, next week, Monday, no news. Tuesday, got red folder news for pound, red folder news for euro dollar. You got red folder news for dollar. So that's all Tuesday. So Tuesday is a pretty big news day. Wednesday, euro dollar, CAD all have red folder news. Thursday, euro dollar is the refinance rate. GDP and unemployment claims Thursday for dollar. And then the core price index on Friday. So, I mean, there's some bigger, heavier news elements next week, but not crazy. It's not like every day is a big news day. So it's just the market breathing right now. Ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows. Ooh. Man, my stomach is grumbling this morning. Coming back up towards entry. So those of you with those higher entries, maybe getting your fill here. I think Owen said he was at 0570. I think that was Owen's entry. And then OnSub was 735, which is back up here inside this fair value gap. This is that hourly fair value gap it's tapping into right now, right here. reaching up towards that. There's that hourly fair value gap. .30-minute goes up a little bit higher towards the top of that breaker. Sitting here watching all these candles prints is a reminder of why I don't like sitting here watching candles print after I'm in a trade. What's up, Corey? Do you use Power of 3? I'm aware of it. I don't take it into account for the specific breaker strategy. I mean, a lot of times a breaker strategy is the Power of 3, the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. You're getting the manipulation of buy side. The distribution is the displacement through the breaker. And you're looking for that secondary return of rebalancing price for price to return away from that. So you should trade Wyckoff, but ditched it because it doesn't happen very often. But when it does, it works extremely well. That accumulation under the Asian lows is perfect. And look at this pump. Can label that accumulation just as it's shown in books on the 3 minutes chart. Yeah, so Wyckoff, this would be the spring, I guess, and then you would be looking for a spring test, and you'd be looking for breaks above this. So if you're into Wyckoff, I'm aware of the Wyckoff concepts. I don't remember all of the descriptive terms for every movement of the pattern. ST, STB, spring, all that kind of stuff. I studied it for a little while, but Man, what's the temperature outside? I haven't been outside yet. It's been beautiful weather here in Houston for October. 57 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's pretty chilly. High of 77 today. That's sunny, and 77 is pretty freaking awesome. I gotta say, that's not bad. October and November probably have the best temperatures here in the Gulf Coast area. They're pretty spectacular. Well, it looks like you may have gotten tapped in there on Saab on your 735. If you were looking for that OTE fill. Looks like you got that. You should probably be live in that trade at this point. Back into a premium level, back into the upper fair value gap, into the optimal trade entry retracement of the London move down. These are all just theoretical models of how price works. How the market delivers and books price. These are all just different ways to understand how it moves. And there's not necessarily a correct or incorrect way to do that. Whatever makes sense to you. You want when you're right, you just want to be right enough times so that your winners, that when you do win, are winning at least twice as much, or at least 1.5 to twice as much as you're losing. Whew, this smells so good. I love this candle. This is my shout out to Leo Bin Candle Company for your teak wood and oak. You can email me at venadortradingllc@gmail.com for any sponsorship conversations you'd like to have. Happy to take your requests there. It just makes me happy. It just instantly makes me happy when I smell this. It smells so good. I'm very, very content. Smelling candles while watching candles. Yeah, that's nice. What's up, Alpha? Welcome in, man. Stealth mode's fine. Lurking is fine. We'll take all the lurkers we can get. It's totally fine. Uh-oh. I hear a dog about to vomit. What the? Let me go see what's going on in there. You know they're doing that up check. I can hear that. Hold on. Jesus. Vomit, man. It's disgusting. I hate cleaning up vomit. It's just gross. It's just gross. Shh. Don't need him to start that. I'm sure they've seen this shout out advertisement. They're probably one of the 21 viewers. You're most definitely correct. Separate 044X Trades. What's going on? Welcome in. Put some royalty-free music on as background and you got yourself a commercial. We need to find some good commercial candle commercial music. That's a good thought. Don't use hard rock. No, it needs to be that chill kind of electro music we had the other day was actually kind of nice. The advert also needs some nice panning shots of the candle, possibly modeled by Brad and his dogs. My wife would be a much better model for that than I would. 100%. Nice OTE entry if that was your target today. Getting a good reaction off of that. That hourly fair value gap being respected. At least currently. We still have 30 more minutes here on this candle, so a lot can happen. Nice Ansab. Great entry. Still targeting for me this first swing level down here for sell side liquidity. So let's see if it works out. Get that New York move in line with the London move here. London took out Asian highs, displaced. So trying to get in line with the way the London market was moving here. That often sets the precedent for the New York session. I think I'll probably just stay on for another 20 minutes or so. We'll finish out this hourly candle, see how it closes, and then probably call it a day here. There's nothing else to do. We're just chilling, watching how this is going to play out in real time, which is like slow motion snail time. Enjoying my candle though, that's for sure. It is warm too. So the townhome that we were in, it had a multi-zone air conditioning system, so it was only on one unit, but it had thermostats in each room, and it could shut off the airflow from one room to the other. It could close vents and run, if you wanted your bedroom at night to be colder, which we do like our bedroom to be colder, then the lower levels we could turn up, and it would just keep the air temperature in our bedroom cool and not be cooling the rest of the townhome. And when we moved into the apartment, now it's just it's your general basic air conditioning system. You have one thermostat in the apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. And so now you're cooling the entire apartment. So at night when we go to bed, we turn it down. This may sound crazy, but we keep our AC at about 67, 68 while we're sleeping. We like it chilly. And but when you wake up in the morning and you go out to the rest of the apartment, the whole apartment is like 67. So that's cold. So I bump it up as soon as I get up, about 5 in the morning, 5:15. I'll turn it back up. But it's still, because it's cold outside, it's like 57 outside right now. So because of that, it's just chilly in here. I got to put some sweatpants on. Had a hoodie on yesterday. I didn't go get one. I should have worn a hoodie today too. It is definitely hoodie weather. Anything under 60 degrees is hoodie weather. I got you, John. I knew what you're talking about. The hard rock playlist, yeah. We needed the more chill electronic. That's why I said we needed the more chill electronic playlist. Can't you get a timer so they come on automatically in the morning? Yes. So we've only been in like 2 days, and I haven't taken the time to program the thermostats yet, or the thermostat. The other ones in my other unit we had programmed out. I haven't taken the time to go do it. We've got a couple things we need to get them to come fix now that we've been in here for a couple days. You spot things and you live with things. It's a brand new unit. We are the first to occupy it. So there's just a couple little things they need to come back in and redo here. So we'll see how that goes. Nice to see some movement here off that 8 o'clock open. Tap into that hourly fair value gap. You get into the premium level of the London session, OTE, and you're getting some nice rejection off of that. So hopefully we'll get a little continuation drop here, make a new low, and be able to get this thing to at least break even. It was the comment you wouldn't read. I thought I said hard rock. Did I not say it? In my mind, I said hard rock, but maybe I just read it and I didn't say it out loud. I read all your comments, John. If there's any comment that's on the chat and it has John's name in it, I promise you I'm reading every word of it. I don't want to miss anything that John has to say. I may not read them all out loud, but I read them all. I moved to break even around 1.5 R. So somewhere down in here. This isn't exactly 1.5 R, but it's close to 1.5 R. It would be making a new low. So if we break this low right there, it's above 1-to-1. We're at 16.7 pips. So 1-to-1 is basically 1-to-1 is right at this low. So that's a 1-to-1 trade. And I want it to go a little bit, I want it to get past 1-to-1. I want to get it closer to 1.3, 1.5 ish. Is where I'm looking to move to break even there. Top Step gave away 50K account yesterday for $1. Really? Was that a mistake, or was that just something that is that just something they did to like publicity marketing stunt? Did you grab one? Tell me you got one, John. It was his ED joke. Sniper entry at 0.62. Hopefully it'll go straight to TP. Red, did you get in at 0.62? Or are you just commenting on Ansab's entry? Is it Ansab? Ansab? I don't know how to say that. I'm just making it up. My Texan English, man. That's the way I read it. Ansab. Everybody wants to get a sniper entry, but it's not the most important thing is not the sniper entry. The most important thing is getting in at the price that you want. And you have your stop loss. All of this area is where you're like, I'm happy to be in the trade any point in here. And if it gets to that level, then I'm wrong and I should get out. But any point inside from there to there, I'm okay with. That's what your stop loss is saying, is like, I want to get in here. Price could start reversing there. Basically what you're saying is this is the minimum level at which I think price will reverse, and I want to get in there. The rest of this price could reverse anywhere inside of here. And if it doesn't, I'm wrong and I'll take my loss. So sniper entries are great. Yeah, no one wants to go totally into drawdown for sure. Nobody wants that. But I mean, it's very, very rare that you're going to get entered into a trade and then just never experience any significant drawdown. So don't ever be scared of getting in a drawdown trade. I mean, yeah, sniper entries are great. I can usually find some pretty good entries. The end result is more about, did you manage your trade? Did you get the entry you want? But those are great entries. I mean, they work. There's a reason they work consistently over time. Good job, John. John, this is your first challenge, isn't it? I believe, with a prop firm. Ansab. That's exactly how you pronounce it. Well, that's good. My hooked on phonics third grade or second grade English teacher would be proud of me. ED jokes aren't hard to get. I feel like John likes to type out jokes and he gets mad if I don't read them for everyone to hear. He goes through all the time and effort to put them in. He's like, damn it, Brad, read the joke. Does TopStep, I can't even talk. Does TopStep use TradingView, or do you have to use an exterior platform to execute your positions? Let's see, the low of the day, Tuesday. Let's see if we can take out yesterday's low. That would be in line with our TP area just before that. So Trade of 8. How is Trade of 8? I know it's a big futures. I don't know if you can do Forex on Trade of 8. I think it's just futures, but all right, I'm going to stay on for about 15 more minutes. I'm going to break even right here where this alert level is. At like 105, 05475 basically. If we can get down to 05475, I'll move to break even. So right where this alert line is. That's where it will be. We haven't even gotten to 1-to-1. 1-to-1 is basically right here at this swing level, this low. So that's almost 1-to-1. And then this is break even. Pound's starting to get some displacement through. Still not just very pretty price action there on any of the pound pairs. So we're right at 1-to-1 there. So that's good. If we go to our 15-minute higher time frame here, you can see we're getting a nice run of buy-side liquidity here, and you're starting to get displacement back through this level. So you're setting up another breaker, 15-minute breaker here. Once you ran that buy-side liquidity, you now have, and you're getting displacement away, you're now setting up another breaker situation right here. So not quite to our break-even position just yet. Pretty close. I want to see it get down there a little bit further. Never used Trade of 8. What do you use, John? Ansab, my TP was hit 1-to-2 RR, done for the day. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. Good job, Ansab. Way to go, bud. Good trade. Well executed. Trading View. But you're trading your own personal account, right? Or is that a demo account? On Trading View, are you connected to your personal broker through Trading View? Is that how that works? Iron Beam. Oh, I've never heard of them. So this 4-hour candle is about to close here in about 10 minutes. And it's displacing below these lows here. So that's a decent sign for the next 4-hour candle to take out its low as well. So hopefully as this 4-hour candle closes, we have about 10 more minutes. If it closes back up inside these lows, I would feel less confident about this trade. But if we can close strong bearish here below these lows, then I would anticipate at least being able to get to break even in that next hour or the next 4-hour candle, and look for it to sweep out the liquidity below here. If it wants to run higher, I think it may want to tap into some of that liquidity first, at least into this. It's inside this order block right now. So, and our break-even point is about 50% of this 4-hour order block. So if we can get down there, we'll move to break-even, and then if it wants to support price and return, it's fine. Be a risk-free trade. My wife is texting me. from the other bedroom. Don't you love having conversations with your wife who's in the same apartment as you, literally about maybe 30 feet away from where I am right now, separated by 2 walls, and we're texting each other? Owen had to go to class, whoever was asking that. Trade Pro Futures. John, what kind of success have you had trading your own personal account? I'm not asking what size. I'm just asking like more like win rate, percentage gains, that kind of stuff. If you don't mind sharing with everybody, John just trades futures, not Forex. I think he trades Forex pairs, but he'll trade the future side of that, not the actual Forex pair side of that. I like to think I'm a comedy writer and you are David Letterman. But in reality, I'm a comedy writer and you're Terry Gross from NPR. I make no claims on being a comedic genius, and my timing and reading of such is sorely lacking at times. Letterman is funny. I don't think Letterman was that funny. I think Conan's funnier than Letterman. And I think I don't think this may piss people off, but who's the guy? Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon in and of himself isn't funny, but I think he does funny things. Like I think some of the games that he plays and his personality but like his actual like comedy, like just jokes, I don't think they're that great. But he's an entertaining host, and so that's what makes Jimmy Fallon good. In my personal account, it's seriously up and down. Some months I have 23%. Other months I have negative 23. That's quite a swing, man. Oh, I thought that was EU or G. I'm on EU right now. I'm on Euro dollar. We're on EU currently right now. About 6 more minutes here. And did not get to our break-even line, sadly. Conan is the funniest, hands down. Jimmy Fallon games are funny. His jokes cheer. Yeah, same. That's we're in complete agreement. So when you say you need to get more consistent in what? What do you think you're not consistent in? Like not being able to identify the setup, your specific setup, or is it consistent in you're taking trades that you probably think you shouldn't take, but you just feel the need to take a trade? Like what do you think you're not consistent in? Because if some months you're making 23%, that's a pretty fantastic gain. I mean, that's incredible. I am not consistent in terms of entering price action too early. Meaning you're anticipating a move before it happens, not waiting for your confirmations. Is that what I'm hearing you say? It's early, man. We've only been up for about an hour and a half. Our brains aren't working right yet. All right, we're going to close out the stream here at the top of the hour. So we got about 3 minutes left. Happy you're in a trade. I was like, I want to see Brad pass that challenge today. I was hoping we'd do it yesterday. We were within $50 of passing yesterday. So, I mean, I was hopeful we would knock that thing out yesterday. We just didn't. Maybe it's today. I'm in no hurry. If it's today, it's today. If it's not, it's not. I don't care. I enter price action way too early and get stopped out before price action rips the way I thought it was. So either my stop loss is too tight or I'm entering too early. Of course, there's some times where I'm just wrong on direction. Yeah, there's times when you are going to be just on the wrong side of the market. You're never going to be 100% accurate on your analysis. The entering too early, I get that. I struggled with that. And that's why I pick a spot where my pattern tells me if I get in here, at least half the time, my analysis is correct at some point in time. So, that is something I think a lot of people struggle with is they just get in too early. They get their stop hit and then price reverses. So I don't know, maybe one thing you could try, I don't know exactly what your trading system and plan is, but just move your entry to where your stop loss is. You might get swerved, but you might get way better entries, and it's just going to, teach you the patience that you need to keep everything, it's going to keep your patience at a level at which you're going to be satisfied with the entries that you do get. You're going to build confidence seeing your higher price entries get tagged. Is the risk percentage you're risking affecting you? Because a lot of times, I've seen traders, because they're risking too much, they're making poor entry decisions. And if they lower their risk and they put their entry where their stop loss would be, and they have a lower risk, I don't know, they just relax more and they think more clearly because there's not as much skin in the game. And they're like, oh, if I lose that, it doesn't really bother me that much. All right, so our 4-hour candle closed bearish, displacing below these lows. So that's nice to see. So I would anticipate this 4-hour low getting taken out, and we should be able to get at least to break even. Now, whether it wants to come all the way down here or not, who knows? But it's probably going to come back up and put in a top wick how far it wants to come back up. Maybe it's to this 4-hour wick here, but this is now a bearish order block that we just created. So you have these two up close candles. You have a down close candle that displaces below them. This becomes a bearish order block right here. So technically, this is the bearish order block you're going to want to see violated, but we did create, or this bullish order block here. These three down close candles, once it displaces higher, you would anticipate it holding price up, which we're inside of that range now, and about 50% of that area is where our break-even position is. So the current 4-hour candle that just closed created this. We had a pop up into some buy-side liquidity, and then we displaced lower. So hopefully any move up here is into this 1-hour breaker again. It's held and respected it. So hopefully it will continue to hold price down and we can move to break even. All right. I'm going to call the stream here, guys, so we can talk tomorrow. John, of course, we can continue that conversation. Happy to do it. I'll let you know if Leo Ben reaches out to me about that candle sponsorship. Guys, feel free to email their marketing team at Leo Ben if anybody wants to look that up and email them for me. I'll be happy to cut you in a small commission on that sponsorship deal. So good luck with that. In the meantime, you guys enjoy the rest of your days. Hope you guys stay safe. Happy hunting out there. We'll post all of our updates on the Discord, so make sure you're following and got your notifications on over there to follow along on how this trade plays out. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, 7 a.m. New York time. So we'll catch you guys then. Adios, y'all.